partially open, and the reason for that is as the disc itself comes down, right, as it moves from fully open and it tries to come down to fully closed, in that in between time, right, where the valve is partially open, partially closed, what you're essentially doing is like when you take your thumb finger and you put it at the end of a hose, you're increasing the pressure difference, right? And that would lead to vibration, high vibration in the line. You also need to consider that using a gate valve for throttling would cause excessive friction between the disc and the seats, leading to wear on the seating surfaces, so your gate valve wouldn't be able to hold as much. It will reduce the performance in the long run, reduce the service life, and lead to higher maintenance costs for you. It's very difficult to perform repairs, whether you're machining the seats, whether you're changing the packing, that sort of thing, with a gate valve installed on your system. All right. Now, to sum up, as I said before, gate valves are linear type valves, and they also allow for good shut-off capabilities for an extended period of time. And the biggest takeaway from it, I believe, should be that a gate valve is a strong, durable valve as long as you select it appropriately for the working conditions. Thanks. I think the next slide will just be some of the sources that we obtain the material from. Thank you.
Thank you for that informative presentation, and thank you again for representing your entire crew. That is group 2. I would like to hand it over to our judges, just 2 minutes each to give any feedback that you would love to give to all the presenters this evening. Starting with our specially invited guest, Mr. Richards.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Oh, most of the presentations were real informative, very informative. If I didn't know much about some of the valves, I would have known about it in this presentation this afternoon. You all hear me okay?
Yes, we are.
Right. One of the things I've noticed is that our presenters must be able to be fluent in their presentation, and also they must be able to show some pictorial aids or learning aids, in the sense that it's very important, because now we are conducting these things viral, and so it's important that the hearers, or even those that are analyzing what you said, they have to, they have to place in their mind that you know what you're speaking about. Some speakers were very fluent. I didn't want to point out anything, but I have to comment on the last speaker. He was very fluent, but the only thing, these are group presentations, and no matter what, people must make themselves available for these sort of presentation and these sort of classes. These things are inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. There should be no excuse why at least one or two other persons were not present. And we have to try to avoid that in the future, because these are group presentation. You all did it together. The person who presented was excellent. If it was him alone, well, he would have gotten all the marks. But it's a group presentation, and that is what the classes are for. But all in all, there's another group. They because of the way they have presented it, you would notice that they are reading a lot. Some people read, almost everybody read it, but you can see when they read, they know exactly what they have, what they know. You can see that they know their stuff. So it's very important that even though you are reading, you must show that you know what you're reading about and try to avoid reading word to word. But all in all, I think the presentation was very good, very good. You know, the lecturers and the tutors did a good job. And I can tell you that I accept all the information that was presented and hope these guys the best as they move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richards, for your feedback. Mr. Andy Carroll, you'd like to give some feedback? And then Mr. Mears will follow after.
Right, good day everyone. Well, I started with the first presentation. I think that was group number 3 was the first people that did the presentation. It was informative. I found it informative. Like all the information related from the various groups, all was more or less accurate. It was on point, right? The person was in charge of group number 3, right? The lead person, Sachin, I believe.
Yeah.
He did a wonderful job. I don't like to pinpoint people too much, but all the group leaders, right? For example, if I go on to the second presentation, right? All the group leaders did an excellent job in terms of when the person wasn't available. Mr. Sukram still went on and did the presentation without no sort of hesitation. He was actually a good presenter. Group number 4, in terms of group participation, I love group number 3 in terms of every people participating and everybody talking more or less fluently. They came across quite clear. Group number 4 was, I love the presentation. It was on point. It was timely. The only thing I find they kind of end abrupt. They didn't really sum it up. And they didn't really say which part they got the information from. I missed part of the last group, right? The last group is group number 2, where they did the last presentation. But I guess it was only one person doing the presentation, Mr. McKenzie. Mr. McKenzie, he was excellent. Right? He was excellent. He came across clearly. The information was on point. The only problem, as Mr. Richards said, and I had it down here, you're the only presenter, right? And it's really a group effort, and we'd like more participation from the group members, right? That is the way that, you know, I mean, as a group leader, sometimes you have to take the leader, but you also have to interact with people, and if you have group presentation, group supposed to present. And I the only
but that is the thing. I get 2 messages late this evening. Technical difficulties. I get the messages what time? I get one of them 4:30. I get the next one about 5. Right? And I believe one person come in at some stage, I think 5:30. Right? So I don't know how to work with it.
Yeah, but as Mr. Richards said, it was an individual thing here, I get all the man. Right?
Yeah,
but,
me disagreeing with you now.
Yeah, good work everybody. I had all our technical difficulties, I know come back on. Right? But good work. And keep it up, and let me try to apply what we have learned in a different field of work and a different workplace, and let's continue to do our best. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Mr. Mears?
Be the boss man now.
Good night, everyone. I want to say a special good night and welcome to Mr. P. Richards. He has been supporting us from ever since day one, since the beginning of this program. He would usually volunteer his time and resources to come as a judge. So, Mr. Richards, we commend you to your commitment to PLIP and we thank you very much. I want to thank as well Andy Carroll for the work that he did with this cohort of students.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Carroll did a lot of work with you guys. I was there almost every night of the students, and to see the participation and to see the number of students that would come out to class every night. You know, guys, I want to commend you all. Now, with regard to the presentation, one of, I would say, I'll start with the things that were great, done well. The majority of students, senior present, you know, you all convinced me that you were working on valves a long time, a long time. The way you all presented, and some of the presenters presented and played into the valves and was able to explain diagrams and illustrated diagrams.